We will start with Mark Zuckerman.
Hey Josh, welcome back.
Hi, Mark. What's going on?
How are you? So I know while you were here, you always talked about how much you enjoyed playing for the team and living in the city. How exciting is it to have the possibility of coming back? And is it something that had been on your mind for the last few years, or to kind of catch you by surprise?
Yeah. I think when I initially got traded, I always told myself that I was going to come back. Like I understood the business part of the game. But different opportunities presented themselves and kind of bounced around a little bit here and there, and it was a bit of a journeyman the last couple of years. But I'm thankful for those opportunities, and when I reached free agency again this year, I know I talked to Scott and. Told him, he said that the Nats like me, and I said, hey, if you can make something happen, let's do it. A little bit of back and forth, and it's definitely a blessing for me and my family to be able to put on the uniform, go back to spring training, and get situated with those guys again.
So shortly before they signed you, they just acquired Nathaniel Lowe, and the sense is that he was going to be playing first base most of the time. If that moves you to a DH role, how comfortable are you with that? And what have you kind of learned over the years about how to handle um, keeping yourself engaged if you're only taking a couple at bats a game and not playing the field?
Yeah, I think I'm excited for it. I know that initially I struggled with it a little bit. Just being able to unplug after at bats and going out to defense. It's easy because you have something else to do. But I think I've gotten better at it over the years, and I know just the importance of what this team needs is slug. So for me to dive into DHing, understand that you have to put my body in position to slug. I have to, work out, train to be able to do that for the team from both sides of the plate, for 162 games. I think just putting my effort elsewhere will make me the best hitter that I can be. So I'm excited for that opportunity, and hopefully, we all reap the benefits of me, being a powerhouse threat.
Andrew Golden.
Going on, Josh? Welcome back. I know you've been a part of the last few years. You've been a part of a couple of playoff teams, the Marlins, the Guardians, and the Diamondbacks, who were kind of close last year. How important was being on a team that's kind of contending, and how important was that for you and looking for where you wanted to go?
Yeah, I know that obviously playing for the Padres was the first playoff chase and the deepest that I've been in the playoffs since. And that changed my perspective of baseball. And I know that getting to the postseason and competing in the postseason, having the ability to win in the postseason is the most important thing. But I didn't really understand what that looked like, what kind of team that takes to push forward in the postseason until the last couple of years, getting bounced a little bit earlier than that, and then obviously last year with the Diamondbacks not even having the chance at the end of the season. Um, Obviously, it's easier said than done. Obviously, Rizzo has a really tough job just in general. So understood what it took, when he took a step back and traded me and Soto and, you know, got the pieces that he got in return and some of the moves he's made since then. So yeah, I'm excited for hopefully making that step forward. I know that, a lot of the coaching staff hoisted the trophy at the end of the year. They're still around, so they have that hunger just as much as I do, probably more so than I do, to get back in those games and to win them. So yeah, I'm just going to try to do as much as I can and learn from the experiences that I've had in the past.
And following up on that, what do you make of the young talent that was acquired on the roster and now is in the big leagues? I guess what do you make of what's currently on this roster?
No, it's exciting. It's definitely a lot of people that can be household names here very soon. I know that just looking from afar, I've heard great things about James Wood. Obviously, I've seen CJ play, Dylan Cruz. Like you name it, you have superstar talent, and guys that have gotten a taste of the big leagues, had some success, and coming back for more time. This is when they can continue to take that step forward and make themselves elite in this game. So I'm excited to hopefully help, guide and also learn from them. Also benefit from having speed in front of me. I'm definitely excited. I know that both parties will benefit, myself and them.
Jess Camerata.
Hey Josh, welcome back.
Hey, Jess.
Following up on what you just said, how do you think that having speed in front of you will benefit you the most?
Yeah, I mean, I've had, a tough time the last couple of years just with getting the ball off the ground and then knowing that I'm a double play candidate. And that's one of the things I'm working on this offseason is just trying to get the ball in the air as much as possible, and taking whatever comes with that. But just knowing, just playing with the Diamondbacks and playing with a guy like Corbin Carroll hitting in front of me, guys that will take off, and if there's an errant throw, they're at third base. It's a different type of game, and I know just in the past, some guys will be at first, and if they're just no go red light, um, then my can't contact could be a problem. So just knowing that I'll have speed in front of me, knowing that if I have to take a pitch here and there and let the guy go to second base, possibly third, the team will benefit from that. So I'm definitely excited. I know that that makes the team better all around, power and slug, coupled with speed and the willingness to go at the right time. Is definitely a dangerous combination.
And since it has been a minute since you were last in DC, how would you say you're a different player than you were back a few years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a ton more at bats underneath my belt. Ton more experiences. Obviously, the game's changing. Fastballs are changing. The attack planes are changing. But I think that just knowing that I can compete, in different generations of baseball. I'm sure it's not that crazy of a time period, just the 8 or 9 years that I've been up. But just knowing that as the game has evolved, I've evolved too. So hopefully, I can help guys that are struggling with some changes that they need to make. Hopefully, I can just bring that to the clubhouse.
Spencer Nussbaum.
Hey Josh, nice to meet you over Zoom. When you mention, I guess, working out and training for slug, training to elevate the ball, for you specifically, how does that shape your off season? What does your off season look like so far? And how much progress do you feel like you've made on that front?
Yeah, I'm kind of an old school hitter. I grew up, my senior year of high school, I think I struck out 5 times, and I had like 50 something walks. It was really important for me to put the ball in play, and that's just kind of my DNA. But understanding, like seeing, MVPs and whatnot the last few years, they hit 40 plus homers and they might strike out 150 plus times, but that doesn't get talked about. The slug is the most important thing, and that's where WAR is. That's what wins games. And I feel like you get docked more for a double play than you get docked for a strikeout. So that's something that I have to keep in mind. But this offseason, just changing my hitting philosophy, I guess. Changing the drills, and just understanding that I have to, hang on my backside a little bit more, focus on letting the ball travel, but also try to stay connected as tightly as I can to get the ball in the air. And if I'm a little bit late, hopefully it goes to left field in the air. And if not, hopefully it's slugged to right field. And I can do that from both sides. And I think if I sell out and train to do that and work with our strength team and understand that I have a big frame and I should probably hit more than 19 home runs a season. So hopefully, here a year from now, I can be looking back at a season where I've hit 40 plus and, breaking my own records for, slugging a season. So that's the goal.
And then I guess looking back to your time in Arizona, those numbers obviously look really good for you. What do you feel like was at the genesis of the second half for you? Like what was working in the second half that you hope to kind of carry ahead?
Yeah, I started some of the slugging right before I got traded. And it was just something that clicked in the cage for me. Was working off the machine, trying to get things right, and found a little bit of something. Worked through the All Star break. Had my dad come in, and we were training. and then continue to click. So it's kind of hard to talk about the specifics, but the timing just felt there, and it felt like I could um, wait back enough to see the ball and make good decisions, but also do damage. And then there's a thin line between waiting back too far and just crashing forward and just being in that sweet spot. So I put myself in a routine that I could find that regularly. Kind of lost it towards the end of the season, but yeah, there was a 2 or 3 week stretch there that I definitely had, and hopefully this year I can have it for 2 or 3 months.
Bobby Blanco.
Hey Josh, welcome back. You mentioned CJ and James. I know you faced Mackenzie Gore before. It's rare for a player to come back and rejoin a team and play with players that they were once traded for. What do you think that's going to be like the first time you step on the field with James, CJ, and maybe Mackenzie on the mound?
No, yeah, I think it's going to be cool. I haven't really thought about the strangeness of it. I think it's just a new opportunity. I'm definitely I've been a fan of theirs from afar, and I know that at least when we played the Nationals last year when I was with the Marlins, it was a tough team to beat. I think y'all dominated us during the year, so it definitely wasn't anything. I was like, this team has a long way to go. We definitely didn't solve the riddle of you guys, and I understand that that's a part of the core that took off the way that y'all did the first couple of months of the season when y'all were really a threat. Yeah, I don't know. I've been on a lot of new teams, put on a lot of different jerseys, and I think I'm going to be used to it. I don't know how they'll feel about it, just being younger cats, but I'm sure they're excited as well.
Yeah, and then I'll come along those lines. When the Nats acquired you a couple years ago, it was to reinforce a veteran team looking to compete. Now they're bringing you to be more like a veteran leader on a younger team looking to compete. How do you think your role has changed as just a leader in the clubhouse since back in 2020?
Yeah, I try to be the same person. I did try to lead when I can, when I feel like I need to. But yeah, I had some different guys in the clubhouse over the years. Obviously Zimmerman and Nelson Cruz. But I think it's important to realize it doesn't matter how many years you have. It matters the type of person you are. And over the years, I've looked up to Juan Soto, who's younger, to Corbin Carroll, who's younger. Guys that put their career first and understand the importance of the game. You can lead in different ways, and sometimes you need a nudge here and there to lead. And some people like that role, and some people don't. But I know for me personally, I'm definitely excited to have that opportunity to lead for a young group, and hopefully, we'll be excited as the season goes on.
Jess Camerata.
Josh, we know you're super involved in the community and you were involved in the academy when you were in DC the first time. What are you most looking forward to about being part of the DMV community again?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot the last week or so. Just trying to find what else I can do. I have my third kiddo coming in March, so it's a little bit different than just leaving the cats and dog at home. It's leaving kiddos at home. But I know I'll find something. I know I'm talking to Sean Bertani later today, and we'll find something that fits for me and my family. And definitely excited. I think that I felt the most empowered as a baseball player when I've been playing with the Nats. And that's, one of the main reasons why I really want to come back. And I always enjoyed being in DC. So definitely excited to have that opportunity again this year.
What do you mean by the most empowered?
Just, it's awesome feeling, like a baseball player where you can put on the jersey every day and, play in front of, thousands of fans. But when you can take the jersey off and also be, a human being that kids look up to and, will listen to. I know the last time that I was in DC, I had a book club for some troubled kids. Um, And like long story short, we read The Secret, and the last day before they came to the game, I went out to their little summer camp place, and they were like, does this work? Manifestation. I was like, I'm gonna manifest a homer tomorrow, and like I still get chills like thinking about me pointing at them as they're jumping up in the stands and I'm running around the bases after hitting a homer. So just like memories like that in DC will always put a smile on my face, and I feel like haven't, I wouldn't have experienced that anywhere else. So just definitely thankful for everything that has to do with the Nationals in those regards.
Mark?
So I guess sort of along those lines, when you came here, I know you really did want to establish some roots here and ideally stick around for a long time. It hasn't worked out that way. Has it been tough to bounce around as much as you have the last few years, and how has that changed your perspective on baseball?
I mean, for me, I have always bounced around, like getting called up from, low A to high A. It's like the most exciting thing in the world. Like you want to get to a new team. For my wife and kiddos, my daughter's, she just turned 3 last month, and she's like, I don't want to move this house. We're talking about moving. She's like, I want to stay here. And I'm like, this is a rental that I don't really like. Like, we're not staying here. But yeah, I think, obviously my wife's a rock star, and we'll be 4.5 hours away from our in-laws and or my in-laws, and we'll have help. And but for me, I love it. I've lived it my whole life. And it's better than anything I could have imagined big league baseball would be, regardless of how many times I've gotten traded or, getting traded for guys I end up playing with. So, yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Just one other baseball type thing. I'm not breaking any news you hear that, but your career has been defined by streaks, good and bad. I'm curious what you've learned along the way about how to try to minimize those periods where it's not going as well. And I feel like your time here, probably like midway through 21 through the point of the trade, is maybe the best prolonged stretch that you went on, and anything you can take from that to feel like you can sustain something without going through those periods of downtime.
Yeah, I think it's all about routine. And I know that in the past I've focused a lot on both sides of the ball, like trying to not only not struggle offensively, but not struggle defensively. Because I feel like offensive struggles are easier to be overlooked for a little bit. It's just baseball. But defense, if you're bad, then you're just not working hard enough, or you're not focused enough. Um, yeah, I'm excited for this opportunity this year, knowing I'm going to be primarily DHing. And if I can find that routine that works in spring training and carry that over into the season, um, hopefully I don't have to make any tweaks. Hopefully I can continue to build on this routine. And if the slug's there, then I won't have to change anything. I know it's just been tough finding what works righty, and then finding what works lefty, and then also finding, how I can be the best first baseman I can be. So hopefully this change will allow me to just focus in on two swings and, different approaches from different arm angles on both sides of the mound. And if I can do that and put myself in position to compete, I'll just be a little bit better for a little bit longer, and hopefully it revamps my career.
Anything else, guys? Oh, Andrew, go ahead.
Just one more quick one. What is your reaction to the Soto signing with the Mets and how much he signed for? I guess like just what is your reaction seeing that as like someone who played with them and also kind of like a baseball fan,
That was nuts. I was there when the Nats were trying to sign him. I was there. He like talked to me during the whole thing, and obviously we have the same agent. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's not double what the Nats offered, but I was like, man, like even then, I was like, dude, if I were in those shoot, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, dude. I'm probably gonna sign now. Probably sign for way less. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but it definitely worked out. It's definitely awesome for him and his family. Couldn't have happened to a better person. Literally, no one works harder than he does that I've seen. No one wants it more than he does, and it's good for baseball. It's good for the players that are coming up right now that are gonna be better than he is. They'll get paid for it. So I'm pumped for it. But yeah, I was that voice in his ear that was like, maybe you should sign. I don't know. I don't know what. So
I
I'm
probably
glad he
would have
did
too
listen
before his
to me.
voice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us, Josh. Really appreciate the time. Thank you everyone else for coming on. We'll see you down in West Palm in about a month.
All right. Thank you guys. See you soon.